Welcome back. We are back with another episode of the Women's Footy Bulletin, which is a collaboration between Fanspire and Women's Football India. And we have quite a few things to talk about, as we said in our summary of the last episode. Um, Quite a lot of football action is happening right now, for as far as women's football in India is concerned. We'll talk about the good and the bad of it, and I have a great panel today with me. One is Priyanka, who's back after a campaign at the Nationals, and she's the one who's on the inside of things. She's a player, and she's currently also playing for India Rush for WIFA. Then we have Orko, who was also very actively involved. So you could say both our panelists have enough skin in the game in women's football. Orko also commentated, which was a new experience for you, I would imagine, Orko. So both of you, welcome to the show. Much to talk about. We'll get into it, but yeah, good to have you both back with us.
Yeah, great to be back doing this after quite a bit. Thanks so much for that intro.
Yes, sir, Orko. I want to set the ground rules first. So, are we going to get a lot of quotable quotes, or are we not supposed to go there?
Um, I don't know what you mean by quotable quotes, Lance, because I'm always I'm a straight shooter. I would like to believe that, and I think some of the people who heard me this past week would also like to believe that, and I hope all of you enjoyed the coverage of the three quarters, semis, and finals. It was a
Yeah,
new
straight
experience.
shooter.
The new experience doing it nationally. At least this was my first time doing commentary nationally. Otherwise, it is mostly local and in arena. So you know, so it was a new experience for me.
Good to have a straight shooter with us, Orko. I'm sure Railways would have appreciated having one in their ranks on that fateful day. But getting into the nationals, Priyanka, as a player, you finally got to play the nationals after a break. How was the overall experience? What would you like to share with us?
Yeah, so honestly, it was really good. It was way better than I expected. So, just to start off, we got a really good welcome at the station when we just like arrived. And that was something like, we've never seen before. We've never seen the players actually been treated like that. And even the facilities that were provided for us, the staying facilities, the traveling, the matches, the way it was done very professionally. And that was a really, really good thing to experience. So, overall, yeah, it was a great experience there.
You come from a state which has a slight edge over the others in the sense that there's some bit of football always happening, and I'm assuming you must have been busy a bit before the nationals as well, playing local tournaments and all. Um, how would you rate the level of competition at the nationals versus the local tournaments you've played? Is it the same, slightly better, maybe? And how was the coaching, for example? Was it the same, better? Probably is the local stuff better than the nationals? How would you rate it?
Yeah. So honestly, the talent in Maharashtra is just like there are so many talented players out here, and I don't think all of them have really got the opportunity to get onto a platform and play. And playing at local tournaments, obviously, you see the difference because you're not playing 11v11 games the entire year round. Majority of it is smaller sided games, and I think there's a big difference between playing an 11v11 and a 5v5 game. But of course, the talent pool in Maharashtra is really, really good. Now, talking about the experience at the Nationals, of course, we faced Manipur because I was playing in the Daman team, and the level there was crazy. Okay, because we just saw them being absolutely phenomenal, like in all aspects of the game, and obviously they went on to win it as well. So I think playing against Manipur was like a level up and experiencing that. But overall in Maharashtra also, I think there are real good players, who have that talent, and but it hasn't been like they haven't been given the chance as I previously said.
Speaking of levels of competition, Orko, I'd like to bring you in here. You had a ringside view of the action as it unfolded in the knockouts and in the semis and finals, definitely. Uh, what was your assessment of the level of competition? There is obviously Priyanka's take on the level of facilities, which seemed to be a marked improvement from what we saw in Pasighat. But in terms of level of competition, level of football that you saw, how would you rate it?
Well, I mean, I've I've little different take here. So there are teams which are obviously prepared. I mean, they're super prepared because they play, like Priyanka says, they play 11v11 the year round, right? Manipur, it shows. I mean, it the cohesion is so good, and Mizoram. I mean, the team formed 3 days before the nationals, right? But again, there is cohesion because they play. They may not be playing, let's say, a registered or a actual state league, but they're playing somewhere in their district leagues in their villages. That's culture, and that's a whole lot of factors that we can't really even start to comprehend. And then there are teams which didn't seem to have a very well defined style of play. uh, Maharashtra surprisingly did have a style of play, but then I sort of felt it played right into Mizoram's hands. Right, you played a high line against a Mizoram team which just tried to put the balls in behind the defense, and they had really pacey forwards. For me, the most exciting team of the Nationals was Mizoram, and it's a very young team, 19, 20, and I really can't wait to see what they'll do next. They might even become like legitimate challengers to Manipur, and because anytime anyone faces Manipur at the Nationals, I just get reminded of that meme from GTA where it says, "Here we go again," and they're just too good. Like they're just what you're getting when you're facing 21 or 26 titles is just mind blowing. Like it's dominance on another level, right? All the teams together won 5 titles. You won 21 titles, so right. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, yeah, like I said, the two styles of play. Uh, some people are prepared because they're playing more games. Some people have Odisha, for example, is another team with a lot of potential, a lot of young talent. But then you can see that the cohesion is somewhat lacking because they don't play together, or they just don't play a lot of 11 aside games. So uh, same ditto for Railways also. So yeah, like this is my take on it.
But tactically speaking, Orko, coming to that game between Mizoram and Maharashtra,
Yeah.
were Maharashtra that way off? Because they did, in their defense, they did catch the Mizoram forwards offside many, many times. At one point, I just stopped keeping even count of that. Do you think if their forwards were a little more clinical? Because there was a phase in there when the Mizoram keeper looked very suspect with very simple collections. Um, do you think a couple of goals and a little bit of a clinical performance up front would have really taken the game to Mizoram?
Perhaps, right? So Maharashtra, as a concept, they knew what they were trying to do, right? Maybe the execution was a bit off, right? So in Mizoram's case, I can flip the argument and say, if the Mizoram women were more aware of the offside rule, then it could have been a cricket score. I can always flip the argument, right? The the thing to see in this case is that Maharashtra seemed to know what they wanted to do. Maybe the execution, for example, small chink in their game, whereas there was a lot of gaps. So there were two banks of lines, the midfield and defense, and there was a huge gap between the midfield and the attack. Maybe that was something they wanted to do on purpose, right? But then you play a high line and then you play a second high line just before that. You don't try to compress the space between the midfield and the attack, right? So they seem to have an idea what they want to do. Of course, like you said, they caught the Mizoram women offside on a lot of occasions. But then again, there are a lot of occasions where they didn't, and Mizoram also fluffed their lines, right? So that also happened, right? So on the balance of it, I felt tactically, yes, Maharashtra were better prepared than Mizoram, but Mizoram such individual brilliance, like they completely blew them away, because especially the two wingers, Siami and Elizabeth, they're just too good. There's too good, and they have Grace in the middle, who's like this boom boom. She's going to play passes all day long, and they have Thansangi behind them, who's just this like, I'll just take the ball, I'll distribute it again, like a very modern six, right? So they're such individual brilliance. Yes, Mizoram didn't have the tactics of Maharashtra, but then again, I think Maharashtra got it a bit wrong. Maybe if they had played a slightly lower block, maybe the game would have been more even. But yeah, like I said, even Maharashtra is one of the teams which has a lot of potential. Maybe they go back, rethink what they wanted to do. Maybe they come back. But it was very heartening also to see a team playing a high line at the nationals, because everyone else was like sitting deep, trying to counter. At least that is my assessment of them. And the keeper, she's 18, but I think she's one to look out for. Anjali. I feel she bailed them out on multiple occasions. There are players. I think even the forward, Karen Pace, she's young. She's going to get better. So green shoots there. They just need to go back to a drawing board, and I think I spoke to Kim before she was the oldest player in the team at 25, and that I think speaks volumes about the team, right? She said, it's our first time into the quarterfinal. I honestly didn't know that. I knew it was Mizoram's first time. I didn't know it was Maharashtra's first time as well. So
it was their first time in 25 years or something. So obviously,
26.
She might not have been aware. The records are very scarce. There are only a few websites, and they only keep a record of the winners. RSSF, for example, which is a record of soccer statistics, and they have a record of all the. But yeah, what Kim told me was that she thought it was the first. So a lot of green shoots for them, I feel.
Great. Priyanka, coming to you as a player, when the games are coming in thick and fast, one game every couple of days, how do you prepare? Because you suddenly find out that you're coming up against a team like Manipur, right? So Orko spoke a lot about tactics. Is there specific conversation happening about, okay, we are facing the Manipur juggernaut, how do we counter them? Or is it just, this is a plan, if it comes off, theek hai. If it doesn't come off, well, it is what it is.
So I'm talking specifically about my team, and all my players. We wanted to win games. I think we were a bit of the underdogs going up against Pondicherry and Meghalaya. So after beating those two teams, obviously we wanted to actually, try to perform well against Manipur, because we know they have been phenomenal, as we already spoken of. But yeah, preparing to go up against them. Firstly, the game's coming thick and fast. Yeah, as you said, that involves a lot of like rest and recovery, because a game every alternate day is not easy. Playing 90 minutes and a squad of 20. So there's again, rotation and stuff can be challenging for the coach. But yeah, it did involve a lot of rest, a lot of hydrating, a light recovery session in the morning, and that was basically what we did. And preparing to go up against Manipur, we saw them beat Pondicherry, I think, by a huge scoreline. So yeah, there was a lot of tactics involved in it, because we're going up against a very clinical team. A lot of tactics, making sure that the team gelled very well. That is something I think I would like to say, that each person knows their role. But yeah, in the end, Manipur were really, really good, and they were too good. But yeah, it does
Deserving
involve a
winners.
lot of, of course, and it does involve a lot of strategy to go up against a very clinical team. So yeah.
Great. Orko, you alluded to the culture a couple of times when you were on comms, more than a couple of times, and then you just alluded to it right now. I just want to talk a bit about that before I go into my next question. First is, even a state that has some culture, the fact that they don't get to play a lot has a telling blow, right? You look, and I'm referring to Tamil Nadu. we thought they were a shoe-in, even though they were in a very difficult group. Not a lot of people bet against them making it out and making it going all the way, but it was a bit of a surprise.
I mean, so Tamil Nadu again, like I said, I mean, I've gone to the southern part of Tamil Nadu, and it's a wonderful sight to see that there's no organized football there per se, but if you go to these schools in Namakkal or Kanyakumari, you see a lot of girls playing football there, and that's where the pipeline comes from, right? Manipur also is facing the same problem. Previously, the senior women would play 30 games, and now they're also reduced to a 4 game, I think 6 game or 8 game state league, right? So essentially, it's the pillars underneath the state league, or it's the games that are flowing into the state league that are, what do you say, creating the players, right? That are proving to be a supply line of the players. And like it's no surprise. For example, Priyanka spoke about Meghalaya, right? Meghalaya once had a very vibrant scene of women's football, which is kind of stagnating now. Also because there are a lot of distractions at the school level. As I understand, it's 2021 going to 2022. I get it, right? But I mean, the culture slowly dying down. So the culture needs to be supplemented with games also. It's as simple as that, right? And it's not just enough to do it at the lower levels, also needs to happen at the higher levels. There are very few places where it's happening at both the levels, right? Karnataka has speaking about a 3-tier women's league, but where are the lower leagues below that? Where are the age group leagues? So I mean, it's not really a chicken or the egg question for me. It has to start bottom up for me, right? And you can see that the states which have a bottom up culture rather than a top heavy culture are doing better. I mean, I don't know if it's slightly convoluted explanation to your.
No, makes sense. Yeah. No, that's exactly what I was going for. I mean, we could talk about culture all day. However, there needs to be the logistics, the simple structures need to be in place, which is probably what caused Tamil Nadu to some extent, because you take away the best players, Manipur still wins the nationals. You take away the best player, Tamil Nadu struggles to get out of the group. So to make it to the semis, right? So that's the challenge. And coming to the semis and finals, Orko, after being deprived of footballing action for so long, suddenly these athletes get some competitive football, but by the end of it, the fact that all of them went into extra time penalties, is that really an endorsement of great competitive football, or did it just come down to being a war of attrition, because there were no limbs on some of these players? We saw Mizoram players, they were limping towards the end, and all the tactics went out of the window. It just got into survival mode, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised because 2 of the 4 states in the semi-finals have been really badly hit by the pandemic, Mizoram and Manipur, and they've not had they've not had competitive football for a long time. Mizoram especially had a 500-day lockdown, which is unheard of, like 1.5 years, right? Those women got no action at all. Elizabeth, the winger, had last played football 3 years ago. Like it's surprising. She had left football completely, and she was convinced to come back for the nationals. So for the nationals, they didn't have a squad. Essentially, they didn't have a trials. It was whoever can come, please come. It was that is how the situation was. Yes, there were a lot of fatigued decisions, which led to a lot of the play breaking up in the final third very often. And that happens when the limbs go, the brain goes. And the modern game is played 80% of the brain, right? But 80% of the brain, the rest are the legs for me, right? So also playing 570 minutes in 10 days, 12 days, it's really difficult. For me, Railways got one over Mizoram because they had to play a game less, remember, than Mizoram did. And by the end, the Mizo women were limping. Like you said, 5-6 were literally standstill. The game had come to a standstill. It was just put the ball there, put the ball there. So I mean, I'm not surprised, and I see this in my own team here in Delhi also, right? Because we don't play a lot of 11-a-side games throughout the year, so playing 90 minutes is also sometimes challenge, because we like to play with a higher intensity. We have this very high intensity brand, and that leaves us drained in 60, 70. That's it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I'm not surprised. This will only come with playing more games.
Absolutely.
That's the only solution to this.
Absolutely. Priyanka, as a player, how did you feel after the campaign came to an end? Though for you it was a much earlier end than say Manipur or Mizoram, but did you also come away, like did your team also come away with a few niggles here and there, feeling that there wasn't adequate time for rest and recovery?
Not much, but yeah, within the team, obviously, in a game you do pick up a few injuries, but as far as I can think of, no major ones, as you are talking, because obviously we didn't go into extra time and things like that. But um, overall, it was fair enough. Like the resting part, obviously, another day would have helped, because generally you need 48 hours to recover after a 90 minutes game. And that was not provided. But I think it's becoming the trend now, right? Because even we're going into another league very soon, and we have a match on 13th and then 15th. So we're seeing a lot of it. I think the league in March, April that we played as well, that had games every alternate day. So 48 hours recovery isn't really there, and I think it's necessary, because you don't want the injuries and things to, because if it's a long league, again, like Nationals wasn't that long, but if it's a long league, it's going to add up at the end, and the players are going to suffer.
It's a vicious cycle, isn't it? Your limbs give away after a while, and then suddenly all the tactics count for nothing. The pace of the game comes to a standstill, fewer chances created, less neither team is really going for a win. That leads to the extra time, which tires them out even further. And heavens forbid if they pick up an injury or we don't, most of the local football leagues or state leagues or even at the national, most of these players won't have access to good rehab or good injury management. None of that. Once they go home, they're left to fend for themselves, right?
True, and it's not just them. I think it's women's football teams largely throughout this country, because I say we because I'm also part of one. We're understaffed, right? We're understaffed. Sometimes we have fewer resources, right? What we, for example, do, try to educate our players at the process of self-recovery, to manage their own game loads and recoveries, and then we work hand in hand. And some of it, like I said, can be managed by educating the players, trying to tell them what the best practices is. But by and large, yes, recovery is a pain unless you come from I say a privileged background. You can pay for a stint at Peak Performance or any of these other rehab centers. Peak Performance, for example, is a well-known center in Bangalore, and there are other such centers. Sporting Ethos in Delhi. So the cost of such a rehab session might count about like 70-80 grand per year, which is honestly, if you just take the remuneration that women's footballers get, it is more than, and this is not a shock, I think, to anybody on this show, or more than 99% of what women footballers in India make in a year, because they're only playing state league for like one season, and maybe if they go to the IW, they're playing one more month, right? And unless you're making 40 grand in a month, you're not going to. Some of these women get, I think, 10 grand at the state league level in Delhi. I think that's the average, 5 grand they're making, and some of them are also amateur. They're not getting paid anything. So yeah, it's difficult, but yes, I guess using the government state, using the states hospitals or the central hospitals to give you a huge subsidy. I think that's the only solution for most of them, at least.
Sure, sure. Okay, now last bit on the nationals. Orko, one player who surprised you, one player you feel particularly bullish about after having seen the extent nationals to the extent you have.
For me, I'm just going to speak about who my MVP of the tournament was, and that was Mizoram's. I forgot what number she was wearing, but she was a number 6 for Mizoram. Sorry, for Manipur. My bad. For Manipur. 19-year-old, 20-year-old baby Sana Devi, right? And I say this because at the top lowest level, Sangeeta Basfar is almost sure to miss out on the Asian Cup. Martina Thokcham is an understudy. I've seen both Martina and Baby Sana from close quarters, right? I'm not really surprised because she took the tournament by the scruff of the neck. She was so good, and I say that because we spoke about extra time, right? Even in extra time, her decisions were 99% correct, right? I think that separates her from the rest, right? That separates really the pretenders from the contenders, as you would say. I think Thomas Dennerby shouldn't waste any time at all. She just call her up right now. And for me, she was, and Elizabeth also from Mizoram. What a pacing forward, an absolute killer for high lines. Nobody wants to go up against that sort of pace, really. So these two, I think, were good. I also felt. Sorry, I'm just going to just throw another name in here. From Odisha, there was this 18-year-old. I think she's 18-year-old. She came on a substitute, which was really surprising because she was really good for a time she was in. Her name is Banya Abhiraj. She was really good, I felt, and she controlled the midfield so well. She gets out of tight spaces really well, and for me, I think these three were really the up and coming performers from the games that we could see, the 6 games that we saw.
Sure. Priyanka, anyone you would like to give a shout out to? Anyone who caught your eye?
Yeah, I did watch the Maharashtra game because I was back home. Maharashtra versus Mizoram. And yeah, just like he said, Elizabeth, I saw her just like tearing apart the defense line. And I think, and obviously the Manipur players there, we've seen how good they are. So yeah.
Great. And yeah, we hope that some of them make it to the all-star team that we are hearing about because the Four Nation tournament that was initially intended to be held in December has now been called off, is what we are hearing. Anyone that you'd be disappointed not to see in that all-star team? Anyone who you think is you've already spoken about Baby Sana, and you're absolutely right. Martina Thokcham isn't quite ready based on what we have seen so far. Definitely not a replacement for Sangeeta Basfar. So anyone you think should be a shoe-in for Dennerby's team from the nationals?
The 11 that WFI put out, I think I pretty much agree with that. And who would have been disappointed? These three obviously I'd be disappointed if they didn't make. Banya, I understand because she didn't play a lot of minutes. She came on a substitute, which was, like I said, really surprising. I don't know what Dennerby's strategy is. Is he trying to blood in, bring in new blood, or is he okay? Because the nationals also, the team could also do with characters maybe slightly older, slightly more experienced, but characters like Supriya Rautre or Karishma or I felt these two were also really good in their own right. But because Dennerby might be looking at the future, we might see some of these missing out. Same Grace also. Grace has been international, but she's been out of the scene for some time now, right? But Grace proved that she still has it. And to be honest, I don't think Grace that old. I think she's 24, 25, if I'm not wrong. But she was an international quite a while back. So I don't know if these three that I mentioned about will be called up. Right. Similarly, I feel Manipur also. Reena Roy Devi was an international quite a while back, right? I felt she was really good. as a pressing forward, right? Yes, she didn't get a lot of goals during the tournament, at least during the knockout stages. But yeah, I mean, there are quite a few uh, characters whose whose ages might not agree with Danabi. I hope that's not the case. Really hope that's not the case, because we need as large a pool as we can for the upcoming Asian Cup. I really think if there's an all-star team, they need to play against the established senior team 3 times, and we need to see, who's doing what. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think that
Roshni
seems
Devi,
to be that
before I forget, Roshni
absolutely.
Devi.
I was going
I
to
was
come
gonna
to
just
that.
say, yeah, Roshni Devi has to be there. I feel, I honestly feel she was too good. Sorry, go on.
Absolutely. No, I was going to come to that. So, see, one thing is there seems to be a hint that Alex Ambrose has dropped when he said that the idea behind SAF Cup would be to give every player a chance to play. So, I don't think it's so much about competing in the tournament. So, I think everything that leads up now will be with an eye to possibly tinkering the combination that Denerby has, and expanding that pool of talent that you talked about. So that's particularly encouraging. But apart from the position that is vacant because of Sangeeta Basfure's injury, there's another position that really needs some cover, which is that of the goalkeeper. And though we have Aditi Chauhan, but there's no credible competition coming through. Panthoi has been out of action for a while, so in that light, how great was it to see Roshni Devi in the nationals?
uh, for someone who watched in semi-finals, she was too good. She stopped, I think, 2 point blank, shots from Odisha, and I was almost ready to shout goal, and it didn't happen. So uh, she was just this mentality monster between the sticks. So when the semi went to the penalties, right? I was like, man, like Manipur are winning this, because they were facing up against her, and I could sense the nervousness. Like, she was just this giant between the sticks, and I could just sense her crushing the other player's spirit from her position between the sticks, because she had stopped everything that they had thrown at her, right? Uh, Obviously, Manipur playing this recycling possession game, it can get risky, especially if your backline gets caught out, right? In which case you need a keeper to keep a calm head, to take it back and recycle it back again, right? That's what modern keepers do. Remember, she was also ex-international. She played the 2010, 12 and 14 SAF championships. So she was, I mean, for me, like, yeah, I mean, I said Baby Sana, but it could very well have been Roshni, who was the MVP of the tournament, and it went to Promeshwari. So there's too many of them to
Yes.
select
Yeah.
from. And I think Priyanka will shed more light, because she played against that team. So she'll tell us, I think, more about the individual qualities of those players, because, like I said, 9 national team without no problem. Win it
Absolutely.
anyway. Yeah. So
Absolutely. Yeah, and coming to you, Priyanka, Orko brought up this interesting point of mentality being what separates the winners and losers, especially when it comes to a penalty shootout. We saw big players, right? We saw Grace fluff a penalty. We saw Supriya fluff a penalty. It is not for everyone, right? So, what does it really take as a player? Like, how do you prepare to take a penalty? What does it really take to get it in?
Penalties, they can. So I've seen two types of players. Like, either there are players who will be like, no, I'm not going to take the penalty. I'm not doing that. Or you have the others who will just like step up and take it. So I think they're just like two types of players. So yeah, of course, the ones who are raring to go. It, as you said, mentality monsters. You have the confidence, and I think apart from confidence, you should also technique and practice is necessary in order to go on the big stage and kill it. Because if you haven't mastered the technique, or you haven't practiced it enough, you may be confident, but of course that's not going to help you at the big stage. So yeah, I think those three factors would work for someone who is really daring to take a penalty.
Absolutely. One last point about the national team, Orko. Ratan Bala is back in the reckoning. Uh, I mean, there isn't much of evidence to go by when it comes to some of these selections, but I think it's just Denerby trying to fall back on proven experience.
I think Kamla and Ratan Bala, right? I mean, there is no substitute for those two. Like those two are just like they've pretty much won and done everything there is to do in the domestic game at least, right? Kamla, I mean, last we speak about Bala, but last nationals Kamla got 20 goals, Bala got 21. So I mean, what more is there to say about Kamla Devi that already hasn't been said? I think it pretty much the same for Ratan Bala, and I was just looking at the Manipur squad also, and half of them have played international. Some of them already look like they still play international. So I mean, yeah, Denerby went for experience. I feel, which is why Supriya, Karishma, these are also good picks for him. Sumitra from Tamil Nadu. I think, like I said, I mean, at the nationals, right, where the women aren't used to playing as a state team more often, right? I think Priyanka also clarified they spend more time with their clubs, right? If not just playing the state league, also playing, let's say, in informal tournaments or tournaments that may come under the aegis of the state affair, right? So yeah, I mean, when there's not a lot of time for you to have a cohesive, what do you say, tactic or a cohesive playing style, then yeah, I mean, experience shows, and it showed at the nationals also, right? So yeah, I don't think Denerby is necessarily wrong, and remember, the Asian Cup will be the highest level at which some of these women have ever played, right? For some of these women, the highlight of their careers.
Absolutely.
For all of them, actually, unless we make it to the World Cup, then that will be the highlight of their careers. So yeah, I mean, it's a pivotal moment, I would say, and he's right to throw all resources at it and see whatever works. He's right to try and expand the pool however he wants to.
Yeah, he's choosing the established names, and at the same time, he's also balancing it by expanding the pool, as you said, looking at newer, younger players who could come in and do a job for him. So I think, yeah, it makes perfect sense to go with that approach. Priyanka, SAF under 19 is going on. What are our hopes from there? Is it just a staging ground, or are we really expecting them to go for the kill?
I think they would be, looking to, as you mentioned, right? You're going to be trying out players. You're going to be seeing how they fit in, and I think mostly it'll just be just discovering the players and their strong points. So obviously we can capitalize and use them there. But of course, no team goes in to lose. I don't think any player goes into a match to lose, and they'll be looking strategy-wise and using their strong points. They're going to be looking to get a win. So I think it's a fair balance of both.
Absolutely. I'll just quickly, I know I had penciled this for the end of the show, but I'll quickly come to the Delhi League, Orko, because the rest of it would be just an update on Tamil Nadu and Kerala League. So in terms of talking points, how is the build up to the Delhi League, and what do you expect out of it?
So I'm just going to talk about my team. We're from the marginalized community of Sangam Bihar, and I'm so proud of them, right, for the job that they're doing. Like, it's phenomenal. We're also the youngest team in the Delhi State League with an average age of 13 and a half, right? So we're going to be playing against women who are double our age and double our sizes. So that's fine with us, right? Anyway, we're playing under the name of Rangers FC because we can't afford to have a license we don't have a license, and we can't afford to have a license in the Delhi Women's League. Rangers were gracious enough to let us use them, and ours is essentially a 5-year, 10-year plan to try and win the state league. Right? Whenever we hit the maturity peak, and we try and play the right way. We try and play these principles in play, so that even now we are sure of what we want to do, right? So for us, the expectation is not to win one match; it's to play the right way. It's about the process. It's not really about the results for me. Like, I mean, I could lose every match, but if I take the right decisions on the pitch, if we take the right decisions on the pitch, I'll be more than happy. To be very honest, and I'm telling you guys, we'll end up surprising a few teams, right? Because believe it or not, 80% of the matches we play are either against older girls or older boys. So that's how we've trained these these young women. They're raring to go. They're incredible. I learn a lot from them and my friend Anirban Ghosh has done a very good job with them. Like, they try to keep the ball. I'm sorry to say this, a lot of teams in Delhi play hoofball, right? They play the route one, which is fair enough. It's their style of football. It's not my style of football. It's not my philosophy. We try to keep the ball. We are essentially a team of midfielders from the striker to the keeper. Everyone has to play with the ball. Everyone's an artist, which is fine. I mean, it's great to see that even when we are under pressure, we don't try to hoof it. We just try to link up. We have this combination play, and it's a high intensity play. Like I said, we are not ready for 90 minutes, not at this age. But if you're good enough, you're old enough. I believe in the adage. So this is the highest level of experience they're going to get this year. And they are also kind of bored winning age group tournaments. They don't want to do that anymore. You should have heard that reaction when they heard we are going to play the Delhi League. It was like a huge cheer, because they just can't wait to take on these other, like I said. I mean, you'll hear of us. We'll probably in the next 5 years, so we'll try to have India's first community club run by the community, completely self-sustainable from Sangamvia. It's going to be difficult because, like I said, it's a marginalized community, but that's not the identity that Delhi knows us by. Everyone in the Delhi circuit knows us by the style of football we play, and that is really our trademark. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about it. Just quick word, Delhi Women's League. So essentially 16 teams in the championship, 3 groups. 2 groups have 5 teams, 1 group has 6 teams. 5 teams go through from the championship to the Premier Division, joining 6 of last year's quarterfinalists. So 11 teams, which will play against each other once, so to decide who goes through. Hans is the defending champion, and I mean, we all know Hans. Hans has Anushka, Hans has Jyoti, Hans has all very experienced players. So our first step is to try not even make it to the Premier Division. Let's say our job is to play the first 4 games really well, to give it our best shot, and we'll see what happens, But like I said, it's mission 2025, not now.
Yeah. All the best for that mission, and if there
same. I'd
if there-
like to wish you guys also all the best, like especially to all the girls. So good to hear like young girls playing. That makes me very happy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll surprise you guys. I'm telling you.
It's happening at the Ambedkar Stadium, right? On the 15th,
happening at the JLN. There are multiple pitches at JLN except the main one. It's happening at one of the other ones. Yeah. So I mean, like Priyanka said, I mean, even like at this age, don't expect them. But youngest is 12, oldest is 16. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, great story anyway. And if I was just going to say, if there was ever a season to dethrone Hans, this is it, because Jyoti is injured, Anushka is busy with Gokulam. We don't know what the KWL timelines are, how they coincide with the Delhi timelines. So so they are missing some star power, definitely. So might not be for the Sangam VR team, but for the Rangers team, but for any team aspiring to dethrone Hans, this might just be the year. Coming to you now, Priyanka, WIFA IWL qualifiers. How are you heading into it? What is the preparations like? What's the schedule looking like, most importantly?
So yeah, busy. It's going to be busy 2 months. It kicked off today. Two teams, battled it out today. Today is the 12th, and it's going to go on till Jan. Pretty long. A good number of games for us, and yeah, it's all going to be full focus. Holiday season like Christmas, no, that's just going to be like a day. I mean, it's going to be full focused on football for our team for December and Jan. That's all.
Great, great. All the best to you as well. Hope India
Thank
does
you.
well.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
And there's also a lot more women's football action happening across the country. The Tamil Nadu Women's League is going on, and what a job Football Maka is doing. Or a quick word on their coverage, on their social media attraction. Amazing stuff.
Absolutely. If you have to grow women's football or any sport other than cricket, you have to go vernacular, and they hit the nail on the head right there. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, always good to see this sort of coverage, and I hope every state goes vernacular. I hope every state does that, because that's the only way you're going to really increase the pool of viewership, right? And it's very similar to how cricket grew in its origins. You had the likes of Charu Sharma and Maninder Singh doing Hindi commentary, Bade Valle Chakka, and everyone's like going, and I have no idea the technical terms in Hindi, right? But I don't want to say something like Muft Lat and free kick, and someone comes and says, no, don't do this, right? So, but yeah, like great job. I hope Kerala also goes vernacular. I really hope so. I don't think Super Sportscast does most of it in English, but yeah, I mean, great job, Football Maka. If you're hearing this, kudos.
Absolutely. Kudos also to Sportscast for doing an excellent job with the Kerala Premier League. Again, there's a stream happening. Sorry, Priyanka, no such luck for Wi-Fi, but hopefully we'll
Hopefully,
all get
yeah.
there. We'll all get there soon. Uh, so yeah, do follow these two leagues that are happening, and we also have the KSFA League coming up. Um, Dates we'll know when we know. Then with the Goa Vedanta League, we haven't heard much about it, but it's supposed to resume after an interruption. It was paused for the nationals. So yeah, a lot of footballing actions still to look forward to. The SAF Under 19 Cup, of course, going on. But on that note, we have slightly exceeded the allotted time. So thank you so much for bearing with me, both of you. Great to have your insights. And as I said right at the beginning, two people with proper skin in the game. So always refreshing to hear the insights. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Arko. We'll connect again soon. We'll make more demands of your time as we go along. But to all our viewers, thank you for supporting us. Do look up Fanspire on social media, on Twitter, Instagram. Are you guys also on Facebook?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, also on Facebook, and do follow us, Women's Football India, Women's Footy India, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we'll see you in the next edition or the next episode of the Women's Footy Bulletin. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And cut.